As always, we'll know when it's started when we hear a little echo of myself from YouTube. As always, we'll know when it's started, and there we are as my echo of myself. So we are live on YouTube. Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, December 9th. This is the MBTA Rider Oversight Committee meeting for December of 2025, combined full committee meeting along with subcommittees as such for the holiday, as we do every November and December. This is the only Rider Oversight Committee meeting of the month of December. And I'm Stefan Wunsch, co-chair of the Rider Oversight Committee. Len, want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Leonard Diggins, I'm co-chair of the Capital Investment Finance Committee.
Thank you.
Wiggs
And Wig,
Amore, Wiggs Amore, just member.
thank you. Well, no, you're also the co-chair of the committee.
Okay, well,
Don't forget that. Thank you very much. I am looking at YouTube for any viewers that may have just come in. We're starting a little behind schedule, but nobody has joined, and we don't have any additional attendees on the Zoom. So I think we will jump right into the agenda, about 10 minutes behind schedule, but I'm sure we'll be able to catch it up. I've got a couple of items to call out, but Len and Wig, I'll defer to you if you'd like to bring up anything first. But I don't
Um,
want to put you on the spot.
no, no, I'm getting to the decks a little bit late, so I'm kind of reading the winter schedule. Looks pretty interesting. The
Yep,
drop back, it seems like a really good thing. I forget who had
that's
mentioned that to us, a while ago. I don't know if it was Jonathan, or if it was someone else, or maybe it was
yep,
Miles or someone who has just said that was the solution, to what we were seeing, happening at the
yep.
terminus, and so it
Here we go.
it seems like it's an easy fix to me, and of course, it requires an extra person, which is never easy,
Exactly.
and it seems like they're doing it. But I remember when they did, like, when the red line had finally gotten up to speed and was like moving very quickly, so that you would get to, because I was taking the train from from Charles, to Alewife, and so before I know it, we were in the tunnel between Davis and Alewife, but then
Hmm.
we were in a tunnel between Davis and Alewife for a while. So it was like, wow, we got here fast, but we're not getting off the train anytime fast. You knew it because, like, they were just stacked in the stations. They would tell us,
Yep.
as soon as we can get a platform for you folks, so yeah, yeah. So hopefully this will help things.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about this.
Yeah.
It seems if I'm reading it right, it doesn't require any additional uh, operator time. I believe that it's simply a logistics switch, which I mean I read this closely. I think I read it closely twice even. Um, it sounds like there's no net cost. Was that your reading of it too?
Well, it says that a dropback is procedure to speed up the turnaround of the train at the end of the line using an extra motor person on the terminus platform. So, I mean, is that a net plus?
Oh,
I kind of think so.
oh, I hadn't interpreted it that way.
How'd you interpret it?
I was interpreting it simply as the the motor person would actually just be on the platform as opposed to being in whatever break area or that's I was assuming that it wasn't an increase in staffing, but it was just a logistical change of where the staffers are, the operators are at any particular time. But you've got a point. It does clearly say
Yeah.
extra motor person.
Yeah. So I think if we were to just kind of, so
Hmm.
let's say you're starting off at the beginning of the day, and you send in a train, from um, since I'm now an Orange Line person, from Oak Grove to Forest Hills,
Right.
because so I guess with just one person, we we that train in order for the train to go back, that person would have to walk from the end of the platform where they come in to the other end of the car. I mean, and so now if you're going to do the drop back thing, then you have to have someone else there ready to get on that train right away. So already you have an extra person, right? You know, so just to start it off, you have an extra person. Now the question is, is that extra person a net one, or is it even because you're trading them off for someplace later on? I don't think so, because I think the deal now is that you're going to actually need like an extra person, I think, on both sides, or maybe it's just one side, but I think you need one on both sides because you do send trains in both directions at the beginning of the day, you know, and so uh, now let's say now let's say for the sake of making this harder, at the beginning of the day, things are more relaxed. Trains aren't going out as fast. But at some point in the day, you're going to get to a point where you're ripping out the trains really quickly, and you're going to need, to have someone on the other end of the platform. And I think at that point, you're going to need to have one person on the end of the platform waiting for the train to come in on both sides. And so yeah, on both sides. And I think it just takes one. Because initially I was thinking you need two, because you're going to bring two trains into the platforms. But that might be only an issue on the red line. Maybe on the orange line it's not such a big deal. So I think you have to have an extra person, Stefan.
Hmm. Well, the wording on the slide says extra, so
Yeah,
I'll grant you that. My first reading was that it wasn't extra in terms of staffing, but just extra in terms of what
yeah. I know what you
the
mean. I know.
current the current
Yeah,
utilization is. But
yeah,
okay,
yeah. No, I know what you mean.
I'm gonna have to read more about it.
Well,
I
I
mean,
no, go ahead.
it is called an industry best practice.
Right.
So I'm sure that I'll be able to dig up documentation. It didn't occur to me what you're saying. So I'm glad you called that out.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I'm not. I mean, I'm not 100% certain. I hesitated because I tried not to say I'm 100% certain about anything. But I'm not at my maximum level of certainty. And so I would like to hear an explanation from someone very knowledgeable, whose initials may be JB. Tell me, what the deal is with whether you actually do need like
Mhm.
to be paying an extra person, extra um, train operator, in order to implement this, or
How
is
are
it?
you guys accounting for the breaks? Because they're making a big point of mentioning that each one of these guys or women takes a break as part of the process.
Yeah,
I think that's always been the case.
yeah, it's always been the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think the deal. So I think the deal is that eh, when you have the extra person at the platform ready to take the car, the person who just came off, who just drove in, now gets to take a little break, and then while they're taking a break, the other train is coming.
Hmm.
It's en route, to the terminus.
Oh,
By the time they get there, the person's taking their break, and now they have positioned themselves at the other end of the platform so that when that train comes in, they can just get on that train. We at the other end,
Right.
load up the train and then go. Because I know, like on the red line now, I'm going back to the red line. I would see like the driver get off at the west end, of the platform, and then walk all the way to the other end, and just like six cars. It takes a little while to walk all the way down the platform. They close the door. Sometimes they would close the door and then open it up and let people on while they take that walk. Other times, they would close the door, take the walk, and you're like standing there for a couple of minutes waiting for them to get to the other
I
platform, and then
I
they go ahead.
I I I believe that it is standard practice to have the operator walk the entire length of the train for safety to look for any visual abnormalities, defects. Um, I'm pretty confident about that. So I believe I believe it's a requirement that whoever's the operator that's taking the vehicle, the train out is required to, at minimum, walk from the back up to the front. I'm pretty sure about that as
Well,
like a
well,
safety inspection. I mean,
well,
unless there's like an inspector, unless there's like a second operator or an inspector that's doing that. I'm pretty confident that in for any transit vehicle, there has to like at the end before it goes back out again, there has to be an end-to-end visual.
yeah. Well, I hear you on that, and maybe that's what they're supposed to do. But I'll tell you, when you look at them walking from one end of the platform to another,
Mhm.
they're not doing, any kind of
Okay.
review, and so well, maybe they are, and they're just good with the peripheral vision and stuff, but normally, they're
Okay.
kind of like trucking, down, because it seems like, they're trucking down to the other end of the platform to get down there. As quickly as they can without running,
Mhm.
so that they can get that train out, so
Yeah. Well,
so
I could be conflating commuter rail practice with transit practice. That's
yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying what I'm seeing,
Yep.
and I'm hedging it because since we are recording now, saying that's just my observation, but it may be, that my observation isn't reflecting what's really going on. They could be just experts at walking down the track and seeing what's going on, in each of those cars, meaning and the condition of the cars. But
Well, I have faith in your observation and your interpretation of it,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
understand your point about, yeah, we don't want to cast aspersions
right, right, right,
without the full
right, right.
insight. Yeah.
And certainly that's not going to happen with this new practice, right? Because if you
No,
have the other, if you,
I thought, well, see, it doesn't not say that the motor person number two or the extra motor person would walk the train. It doesn't say that they wouldn't. Hmm.
the motor person for train one walks to the tail end of the platform, which will be the lead end of the next train, and takes their break. Before doing so, the next train arrives, reduces the turnaround time, and
Hmm.
so they're walking to the other end of the platform already, and they're taking a break there. So when that other train comes in, they're not walking the length of that train at that point. They're taking a break, in the lead position, so that when that train comes in, they can just like get on that train, load it up, and go. So they're not doing an evaluation of the train.
But indeed, somebody is walking the length of the train, even if it's not the motor person who's heading out.
I don't think
And
so.
maybe that's all that matters.
Maybe they're going to have to be walking the length of the train while they're loading the train up. I just don't think because the whole point is to get that train out of there faster, you know.
Right.
And and
But it
so
does, but the bullet number one is clearly motor person from the first train walks to the end of the platform, which will be lead end when it heads out again. So there is an operator walking the length of the train, and maybe that's the only requirement. It's just somebody has to walk the length of the train, not necessarily the operator that's going out.
We need a little animated cartoon here.
I was thinking that myself.
Yeah,
But
and
I mean the bottom line is
yeah,
it is stated as um,
okay,
introducing or this introduces an industry best practice,
right,
and I support that. And the
yeah,
implemented in the winter rating after 2 successful pilots, although it doesn't specify what the period of the 2 successful pilots is, unless I'm missing it. But
yeah, it's not fair. You
yeah,
know, and,
but I'm not worried about that.
yeah, yeah. I don't.
Yeah, I'll aim to get a little more information from other sources since it's referred to as an industry standard.
Yeah, I think information will be coming our way. I mean, so we may get an answer, to this, within the week. So
Yeah.
so I would just hold off until the end of the week. I mean, if we don't get an
Okay.
answer, I mean, then we can inquire. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But I mean, if you want to go ahead beforehand, that's fine. Don't let me stop you. I'm just
Oh
saying,
yeah.
if
I
you,
mean,
if
if I just
yeah,
Google for stuff, there's no
yeah, yeah,
that's my time. Yeah, no
yes,
problem.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
the 10% increase on Ashmont Brain Trade, the decrease in headways. I mean, I don't know if you can see what I have shared right now, but I believe that's what we had announced a couple months ago about the general increase in trips, decreased headways. I think this is just putting concrete numbers onto what was announced by the GM. What was it? October?
yeah.
I think the numbers weren't finalized, but that's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And I think we had some advanced word about the bus frequency changes as well, but it wasn't finalized. And nothing jumped out at me from bus. And the details are here on the in the appendix.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, right. It was mentioned to us in one of the subcommittee meetings that there's still the expectation that there'd be four car, 2 4-car consists for the peaks, and I believe we were told that's based on the availability of the CRRC cars, but that's
Okay.
noted here in
Yeah.
the heavy rail changes. Two
Yeah.
4-car consists remain scheduled during AM, PM weekday peaks.
Okay. Yeah, I was just reading that too, and I was trying to remember why that was the case. So thanks for
Yeah,
reminding me.
I believe that's
Yeah.
because of the vehicle availability.
All right.
There's just not enough yet of the new red fleet
Right.
to make 6-car consists of the new stuff. And of course, you can't intermarry the new and the old.
Right. Well, it's good to see, that they are performing. The new cars are performing really well. You know, and
Yep.
I'm getting used to them. all the this is us kind of getting used to the new red line cars that now switch over to the orange line cars, and for some reason the orange line cars, I mean, just kind of strike me as more comfortable, on the in the configuration, a little more
Interesting.
comfortable, and and because they're not identical, right? Wait, the two cars aren't identical, right? Someone could tell me,
Right.
well, Len, the cars are identical, so why is one more I don't think they are. I
I
think,
No,
think
no,
you're right. I
the
think
orange
you're
line
right.
is a more traditional size dimension, um, more typical for like the US. The red line, the Boston red line is kind of I don't want to say oversized, but it's a much larger vehicle. It goes way back to the beginning of the red line. They
right,
were designed to be not as huge as conventional rail coaches, like what we call commuter rail now.
right.
But yeah, the I've read um, accounts from the Red Line, and people were just amazed. It's so big inside, longer,
Yeah.
wider. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the height between red and orange is about the same, but length and width of the red is, yeah, they're absolutely
Yeah.
longer and wider cars.
Well, I think what I mean by more comfortable is just that when I get on the train, I have a good idea of where I can sit. I think when I get on the red line cars, it's like I'm not quite sure where I can sit.
Yep.
Meaning like if I like in any given direction when I walk on an orange line, it's like, oh, I can sit there, I can sit there. But I mean, when I get on a red line, it's like, is there a seat there or is it not a seat? And so I just haven't gotten used to them. And so that's why I said earlier on, like I was getting used to the red line cars, and then I switched over to the orange line. You know, and then the orange line cars don't really take any getting used to because I guess they're just like there's just kind of seats everywhere, and so it's not a
Yeah.
complaint. It's just a kind of um, I'm just describing my personal experience.
Yeah. Well, thanks to the miracle of technology, I don't know if you can see my shared screen,
Yeah,
Len,
yeah,
but orange line CRC, 111 long, wide, 111 inches wide, but the red line is either 122 wide or 120 wide, and 65 long for the orange line versus just over 69 feet long. It might not
yeah,
seem like a lot, but that's part of it. That's part of what makes the difference. And you can
yeah.
see the
But
seat number.
I was
You can
talking
see
about
the seat
this.
count.
I was talking about the seat configuration, though. On the cars. So
Yep.
that was what was making me a
Yeah.
little uncertain when I get in the cars. I mean, so it's that
Yep.
kind of comfort. It's not the dimensions of the cars. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the seat configuration.
Right.
And, and
I hear you. Well, I
yeah,
mean, there are definitely more seats in the CRRC orange. I
yeah,
believe the lower seating count in the CRRC red, the number 4 red line, was deliberate to provide more standing room
yeah.
for cars.
It is, and there is like, I know another thing too is that there is me on the red line cars. There's like a seat, that is on, like there are two seats next to the door, and then a pole, and then a seat, and then there's like nothing on other than that seat. You know, and I'm always a little kind of anxious about sitting in that seat because I'm like if the train like starts really fast. And it's a little slippery too. So if it starts really fast, I'm not braced for it, then
Right.
I'll slip off. So thankfully that seat is in a position such that if the train comes to a rapid stop, I'm not going to slide off.
Yeah.
And I think they're all that way on both sides. That if it comes to a rapid stop, you don't slide off. But if it should for some reason accelerate, be a little more quickly than I expected to, I'm not going to
Yeah.
fly off, but it's just something that I'm just not used to sitting in a seat that's on an edge and there's just like nothing on the other side. except maybe a standing passenger. So normally like there's always another seat to you, or the edge mean that's next to the door. So so that's it.
Huh.
Uh,
If you thought that I was frantically trying to pull up one of the design drawings that shows the seat layout, you would be correct, and I'm not finding it in a timely enough fashion, so I'm going to
well,
bail
have you not?
out on
Do you know
that.
what I'm talking about on the red line cars? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah, it just I just it never I never thought of it as a
Uh,
like coming out of the seat kind of an issue, but yeah, I can see your point.
yeah. Yeah.
The blue
Yeah.
line cars also have a similar uh oh, it's been a while. I believe it's a single. It's one single seat on each end, and that's sort of like that's sort of the prized seating area for regular commuters. If you get on at the start of the trip, if you're boarding at Wonderland and you can run right in when the doors open and get to that single seat. But that's a little different because there is a grab pole
Right.
that that's right at the edge of the seat. So you got the wall on the wall of the cab on one
Yeah.
side and the grab pole on the other.
Right.
So
Right.
you're not
Right.
going
Right.
anywhere. But
You're not going anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah, and I normally wouldn't go for those anyways because I feel a little bit confined. Sometimes because I mean I think there's like seats like that maybe even on some of the red line cars, but they're narrow, and so to get in there
yeah,
to sit down, it's like it's sometimes a little bit of a squeeze.
Mm.
And then you can't really like cross your legs. Being as a guy, sometimes you like want to like create that triangle
yeah.
on your lap.
Fair enough.
When you're in a seat by yourself, I mean, you can't do it there. So I know what you're talking about.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
well,
it,
let me go ahead.
well, there's some notable things that I want to call out on the GM's report from November, which was after our last meeting.
Uh,
If you're up for that.
yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. I will pull that over. Um, you may have already heard this, but I wanted to make sure that I share it. The Green
Yeah,
Line train protection, um, mid 2026 projected phase one operational. And there's a little call out here in the corner that says phase one is cab audio and visual alerts. I believe that leaves phase two to be the actual auto stopping, autonomous safety braking without the operator involved. But just having the phase one operational in, let's say, in very round numbers, 6 months, phenomenal, in my opinion. I mean, the newest vendor was only selected what, just a little more than a year ago. I mean, admittedly, I mean, as we see here, admittedly, there was a lot of work done, proof of concept, but as you know, from 2020 to 2024, yeah, not a lot of progress until that contract was terminated and the new phase began. But um, from the notice to proceed in June of this calendar year to, again, in round numbers, 12 months later to operational, that's just stellar.
all right.
Of course, as you probably heard, it comes at a cost of the surge that's happening right now. The Green Line Central Tunnel is, you've heard this, I'm sure, completely bus replacement
Yeah,
all the way from North Station to Kenmore, Babcock. That's pretty huge. And there was actually a T alert today for the Green Line bus shuttles being delayed by traffic up to 45 minutes. That was the T alert I got today. Green Line replacement shuttles 45 up to 45-minute delays because of traffic. Wow, that's a shame. But what's called out here about the uh, the amount of work already completed, you know, many, many miles of wire, cable. Oh, and by the way, if you don't know the term messenger wire, um, messenger wire is the technical term for the load carrying wire that you see that's actually mounted to the sides of the tunnel or the ceiling or what have you. It's called the messenger because it's basically um, taking the load of the actual signal cable. So it's kind of like messaging the weight distribution. It's a weird industry term, but so so basically the messenger wire is what carries the actual cable. So that's why it's not exact, but the 6680 is basically half of 157, 150, which tells me that there's two sets of cable going through the messenger or being attached to the messenger. Um, I forgot to look up Pico. I've got to look up that term. I don't remember what that is. Um, but this is it's just astounding. For spring 2026, the entire Medford Tufts Union Square, Central Subway, and even out Riverside. Amazing.
Cool.
Oh yeah, did you see the photographs? The onboard equipment. Did you catch
Yeah, I
this?
did. Well, I
This
was.
uh
Okay.
this new cabinet, um, unless I'm mistaken, this takes up the space of either one or two seats, which, okay, it's what it is. Does that ring true for you guys? I mean, this is
Doesn't
a
Uh,
look
type.
like it. It doesn't look like it sticks out that much.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, but I'm surprised it's not rounded at the end more
Oh. Oh. Hmm.
or padded.
Yeah. It is rounded, but
Yeah, not
yeah,
very much.
I get your point. I guess play on words not intended point. But
Yeah, I mean, if somebody hit that, an unexpected whatever, I think it would be better if it was, had an inch of protection, foam or something.
hmm.
But is that just open and it looks completely different when it's covered?
Oh yeah, I'm confident that that will be indeed a lockable cover on
Yeah,
the
so
front.
maybe when the cover's there, my points would be moot.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing him in person. And and you saw the transponders or antennas or whatever on the roof. I was surprised that they were set back so far, but okay. They're back pretty far from the leading edge and the windshield, but
Are
whatever.
those brand new?
Yes, yes.
And
I
do you
are
think they
the radio components.
do you think they've been winter tested for big snow loads and stuff?
Boy,
yeah.
I
They
would
could
have
be
to think so. Yeah.
simulated in some way. Way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had a really big snowstorm in a long time.
It's been a long
Right.
time since we've had 6 inches at once. I mean, I think we're approaching. I think we're probably like in the number 2 or 3 position for that. You know.
Yep. Oh, and just as a side note, um, I'm going to be keeping my ear out for things online over the next month or two about the South Station fare gates, which just went live.
Huh. So actually, I was going to ask Jonathan this,
Yep.
so maybe you know already because you've been there. So when I go to get a bus, I mean, from South Station, I usually take the, Red Line to South Station, and then I go through the food court area, and then through the gate to the commuter trains, and then I walk along the right edge there. Is that still going to be accessible
You mean without a tap?
without a tap, right?
He told us, and now
Did he tell us? Or we have to go outdoors and go around outdoors?
I believe he told us, and I
I suspect you have to go around outdoors,
what
which isn't a big deal unless the weather's bad. Which, yeah, I guess in the grand scheme isn't a big deal because, well, eh, you probably had to get there in bad weather,
I'm I'm diving on my notes.
Some of these things are not at all confusing when you use them all the time, but pretty confusing the first time or two.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's kind of like how it is with everything, though, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and
Well, yeah, I think that's a good point. I would say the commuter rail at North Station is pretty simple, even the first time. But yeah, if you think of the Green Line, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't know to walk under the causeway, but and I found the same thing. I was walking back from Back Bay to South Station, and I wasn't used to the route, and so it took me a little while to actually figure out how to get in and in the right place to pick up the train.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll say that walking from DTX to the South Station is easy. You just go down Summer Street. You know. Now, if you want to do TTX, to the South Station to the bus, there's probably a better way, to get to the bus terminal where you then
Right.
don't go through like the main part of South Station.
Yeah.
But it's not really clear to me how much you save. That way.
Yeah.
Because you need to go like Chinatown, and so
Right.
now you're like on the train for a short amount of time to Chinatown. It's not that big a distance save, but
Right.
yeah,
No, it was
but
just my confusion on walking in an area I hadn't walked in a long time.
right, right. So what did I do recently that I thought the wayfinding was really, really good? Um, I think. Oh, I got off at here it was. I actually walked from MGH, to the Orange Line, and I thought the wayfinding, through um, the Garden, to the Orange Line, and then to get to the right, train was good because sometimes you go into these stations like, well,
Yeah.
is if I wanted Oak Grove, and so it's like, is it going to get me to Oak Grove or Forest
Right.
Hills? Will it be really apparent to me where I am? And I thought the wayfinding there was really good,
Yep.
but yeah, I kind of feel that the first time you do anything, if if you've been around for a little while, you realize that, why don't I just give myself some extra time to get lost and figure it
Yeah.
out, or to
Right.
ask someone. And I think we can go kind of crazy, trying to make it such that people can figure it out for the first time because they're almost never going to figure it out
Yeah.
completely the first time. I think there's just something about the human condition where you're just kind of in a
Yeah.
stressed out mode, and you're even not taking information well, and so you go
Yep.
through all this effort, to design, this thing, and the person's just kind of stressed out and they can't even read the alphabet,
Right.
much less a set of directions.
Yep.
Anyways,
Yep. That's absolutely true.
For what it's worth,
yeah,
I pulled up my notes from the October rock meeting, and I the note that I took, and I'll just read it verbatim. Discussion of South Station fare gates to finally be installed, likely delayed because of the need to have a non-fare paid connector between South Station and the bus terminal area.
Uh,
I believe I'm referencing what was said by somebody else in the meeting,
right,
uh, but we didn't have any direct evidence that that's why the fair gates were delayed so long.
right, right, right.
Um, it was a reasonable supposition. So based on that, I would think that there is now a non-fair paid pathway from the train head house to the bus area.
Yeah,
But that
I
needs
mean,
to be
I'm,
proven.
yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I guess my reason I have a little bit doubt about that, or I'm just not certain where it's going to be because just recently, last Wednesday,
Oh,
I came back from New York. Actually, I went to New York and came back by bus. And I went through the main concourse to the commuter rail, and I saw them putting up the gates. And I hesitated because I was like, can I go through here? To go to the bus station. And I didn't see anyone saying that I couldn't, so I did. And on my way back, I kind of looked at it and I said, "So is there going to be like a way to access this part without tapping?" And I just didn't see it. And I saw a gate there that seemed like it was going to require tapping, but maybe it'll just be open. You won't need to tap it. And I was trying to look at where the number one train is going to be, and it seems like that number one train or the number one track, is along that wall. And it seems like people board the train along that wall, but maybe they don't, because I just don't know. I don't use South Station to commuter rail passenger a lot, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, if when they bring trains in, if they board
Right.
like on the aisle that's not next to the wall, or if they board near the wall, you would think that they board on the aisle and not next to the wall. In which case, now you could probably put a gate, or create a free access area, along that wall, you know. But anyways, the more I talk, I feel the more I confuse things. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah,
no, it's
Well,
fine.
yeah.
That's worth a field trip, speaking for myself.
So I'm sending you all the 2026 schedule, and even though I'm sorry, will we finish this topic, or do you want to talk about something else?
Oh no, that's everything. That was all the key things from the GM's presentation that I thought were worthy of review.
So I'm sending the schedule. It's kind of similar to this year's, and I even did December, but I was thinking, well, maybe we might want to consider me not meeting in December, but we can decide that, in November.
yeah.
I bring this up only because I'm in other groups, and half the groups are just not meeting in December, and the
Right.
other half are, and I mentioned to someone else, I was like, oh, I'm beginning to think that like August, maybe we should just like take December off, and the guy was like, I'm 100% behind that. So I just put it out there, but I have it on the schedule. It'll be like this year where we'll meet the second, you know, Tuesday of the month. And in the case of November, since November next year won't line up with Veterans Day, we can meet on the second, Tuesday in November instead of the third Tuesday in November, which we did this year because Veterans Day was on the second
Hmm.
Tuesday. Yeah. So
That sounds good.
yeah, okay. So yeah, you all have a look at it. I lined it up against major holidays and especially Jewish holidays.
Mhm.
But take a look. If you see any issues, let me know, and I'll send it out to the rest of the group probably towards the end of the week. Uh,
Yeah. Thank you very much. Uh,
We're talking about potential delays or snafus and stuff, and I've been thinking about the Tufts junior faculty woman who's just about to get back to Tufts after having been arrested by ICE and jailed
yes.
in Louisiana. And holy crow,
Yes.
she had quite a delay there.
the worst part was that she had to go to Louisiana. and I say that as a Louisianian. So it's like because it wasn't
Oh,
because she
ah,
wasn't in New Orleans, I mean, and so so you know,
There is some good music there, though, and
yeah, you gotta be into it, you know. So yeah, I guess I mean the jazz is good, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've I haven't been there ever during the jazz festival, but that must be pretty phenomenal. When
it's
I have been there, what I found was it was actually the little places outside of, the French Quarter, the little places in the neighborhoods that had the really, really good local musicians.
mhm, that's true. What's that supposed
um,
to? Oh, go ahead.
I um, I think we can move on to the topic that I have to admit I don't know what was wanted to be reviewed, what was desired of review on the design standards and guidelines, but I've got them pulled up. Um, where would you like to take that discussion? Oh, and Len, you said you've got to leave at 6:30.
Yeah.
That's not a
I
problem.
do too. I do too.
That's
Are
fine.
you
We're scheduled on the agenda until 6:30, so that's not a
Yeah,
problem at all. That's in line with our published agenda.
are you going to the grass
yeah.
meeting?
That's why
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave.
that's where I'm going to. So
I'd like to hear back from that next time we talk.
sure, sure, yeah. So
Unless that's publicly streamed, do you happen to know?
yeah,
If you
it's
don't
actually
know, I'll look it up. Don't worry about
no,
it.
no, it is. I mean, I'm going. I'm attending virtually, and
Oh, okay.
so I was kind of scrolling around. I don't remember if I have already registered, and
Okay.
so
But if
I
it
was
is if it is a public meeting, I'll join in and listen.
sure.
I mean a public online, but
That
um
is.
for the
No, it
for the
is.
next for the next 15 odd minutes, what did you have in mind, well, about the review of design standards?
Well, Melissa talked to the MBTA advisory board on, I think it was like the date of her 25th date of hire, at
Oh,
the
wow.
MBTA. Yeah, it was a nice little coincidence, and I'm blanking out on his last name, Al. Um, he used to come to rock meetings at the very beginning, I'll get his name later on, but he was there. He was person, either one of the people who hired Melissa or um, or the person that hired Melissa. So it was a nice little kind of reunion meeting at.
Oh, Alan Castellan.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was
I haven't seen him in ages.
yeah,
He's great. Man,
yeah,
I really enjoyed working with him, talking with
yeah,
him.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
forget what
Alan Castellan.
yeah, I forget what town he's representing. So he attends, um, pretty much I guess all of the full advisory board meetings, and we're on the bus, in transit, subcommittee together. So Melissa talked to us about the new um, bus stop design standards, which was pretty interesting.
Oh,
And as you know, I mean, nothing's simple. When nothing's simple, period. But it's certainly not simple when it comes to transportation and transit. And there's a lot of detail that goes into me me coming up with standards and guidelines me for designs of bus stops. Because you have to have like enough space for the bus to pull in. There's so many things that you're taking into account. It's like a bike lane if it's there, parking if it's there, how much space it takes to pull in, and yeah, it was something about like I
oh,
remember asking questions like, why isn't it symmetrical? Because I think like you need more space to pull in, but less space to pull out. And she explained it. And I kind of got it. On
that makes sense.
on some level, I see it. But kind of like in a theoretical sense, I'm kind of going, why? Aren't they the same? Uh, so yeah, and so then I went looking for the guidelines themselves, and then when I saw those guidelines, I saw all these other guidelines. On that page. Some of which most of which are recent, some of which
Yep.
are fairly old. And I was thinking, hey, it might be worth it for us to kind of go through these
Wow.
guidelines. Just become really familiar with them. And so I was thinking
Hmm.
as a project for us next year, that we could maybe, pick a guideline per month or something. That'll be like our homework. For the next I would say maybe we could determine whether we want to do it during operations meeting, the subcommittee, the all subcommittee meeting, or whether we want it at a full rock meeting. I would say we do it at all subcommittee meeting
Yeah.
because that way we would have Jonathan and perhaps Miles, and then maybe have a guest meeting that is, well, let me rephrase this. If there is a guest that's associated with that design guideline or an author that is associated with that design. We then, if we in the process of discussing it amongst ourselves decide that we will have questions that we want to ask this person, then we could invite them to a full rock meeting or maybe the next meeting, all committee meeting.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to say about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic. I mean, funny thing about the design and specifications docs, um, I don't know how I originally found out about them, but I've known about these for probably, I won't say as long as, but almost as long as they've been on the website. And I've made it a point to pull down and read just about everything. Um, Maybe not as deeply as I could, but yeah, they are spectacular resources. Um, and I'm just realizing right
Yeah.
now, I think there are more posted here than the last time I looked, even though the ones that I don't recognize have dates that are further back than just a year or two. I mean, in other words,
Right.
it seems like more documents have been added, even though they have not been revised, which is great. And I have to admit, I hadn't noticed the two that are updated 2025 Transit Design Standards Manual. I have not seen this. And no, that's interesting. Ah, this right here says June 2004. 2004, but yet it's listed on the
Well,
website as 2025. Hmm,
the whole
interesting.
thing, the newest parts of it may be 2025.
Uh, nope. Interesting. Every single page has a footer on it, and they all seem to say 2004. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the date.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, I guess I'm mistaken. And it looks like maybe
Well,
the date
the
here.
font on the front page looks old.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's definitely not the standard font that we've come to well, not expect, but become familiar
Right.
with which we've become familiar. But that's interesting. All right, so I'm gonna restate. It looks like the date on this page might just be when it is published on this web page and not the date of the document itself. But I definitely have not seen the bus stop design guide before. I'm going to tear this apart. Reading at a later date. What besides like just the asymmetry of the length of it, Len? Anything else jump out at you?
Oh, not really, not really. But you can see the presentation.
Yep.
I think the MBTA advisory board, if they don't have a YouTube channel, they certainly do post, their videos and make them
Oh
available. So
yes.
if you go to the advisory board's website, and then you should be able to get, the link to
Yep.
the.
In fact, it's probably here. Let me put this right into the Zoom chat as well.
So guys,
It
I'll
was,
probably need a couple minutes break before the next hour and a half meeting.
yeah, I think we'll probably wrap up in about four
Okay.
or 5 minutes.
Okay, great.
Um,
See you
do you
next year.
recall, Len, was it the advisory board
It would have been a meeting in November, maybe.
rapid transit committee?
Yeah,
Probably rapid transit.
yeah. It was before Thanksgiving, of course.
There we go. Bus stop design guidelines. Yeah, and Wig, have a great holiday.
Yeah.
Happy New Year's.
See you next year.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
Len,
there we are. Bus stop design guidelines from the
Second
November
Tuesday in January.
13th. And I didn't see November 13 Rapid Transit Committee. I don't see the video up yet,
All right.
but it looks like it's the next one in line to be posted since um, the most recent one with the recording is Rapid Transit from the month before. So
All right.
that'll be good to see.
All right. All right. We can always like write Brian Kane, or someone at advisory board and ask them to post it.
Yeah.
They probably just haven't gotten around to it
Yep.
because these are just recorded Zoom meetings. So
Right.
those
Well,
things are.
I'll speak for myself, saying that I am particularly thrilled that this is out now, although the title does seem to hint that it came out in February and I just didn't notice it. But this is particularly great timing for me being a Lynn resident and the ongoing kerfuffle from public comment about the proposed. Well, it's not been proposed yet, but the Route 1A significant bus route redesign, which is just getting underway. And I think I've mentioned in previous meetings the uh, very negative, almost unfounded statements from the public about, oh, we can't go from 3 lanes to two. It's never going to work.
Right.
And people are up in arms even before a final design has been
Right.
implemented. So, like I
Yeah.
said, just to wrap up that, to full circle in that,
Right.
I am thrilled to see the bus stop design guidelines
Yeah. Well,
that the Linway project ongoing.
there was a presentation on that project, to the the MPO's tip process engagement and readiness committee, the tipper committee, and that was really interesting because they were telling us about the design of the project and yeah, and how they are reducing the number of bus stops in order to make it work
Mhm.
better. And they hadn't really. I had the impression that they hadn't really done the public engagement process yet. And I said, look at me, my experience in Arlington is that if you try putting a bus stop someplace or taking away a bus stop, from someplace, you're just going to get pushed back. And so you just have to like kind of go into this, be willing to listen to something that you have not heard and consider it, but you can kind of predict what you're going to get. You just kind of have
Yeah,
to stick to your guns, in the end, because people are going to come out blazing, for any new stops or any
right.
removed stops.
But do you remember when that was? Because I didn't know that presentation about the Linway project had happened. You said it was part of the tip?
Well, there's a subcommittee for the
Yep.
MPO, and unless you're like going to
Sorry,
the
MPO.
MPO's,
Yeah.
yeah, unless you're going to the MPO site regularly and looking at all their meetings, you're not going to know about it. And so it was in November too, and so let me see if I can find a date for it. And all the MPO's meetings should be posted on the MPO's YouTube channel. So if you can find the meeting. In all honesty, I wasn't expecting that presentation at that kind of a meeting either, but it's not that it should have been there. Part of the Tipper committee, is to get updates about projects. In addition to the updates that are given at the full MPO board meeting, mainly because the
Right.
MPO full board meetings are long enough as it is, and so this is another outlet for
right.
proponents to kind of let us know what's going on. So that would have
Was
been
it
on
November
November
6th?
6th. Yeah.
Got it.
It was a good presentation, you know.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been to three, I think.
uh,
At least two. I think it was. I went to the third one. Um, excellent
actually, this is
material.
reconstruction.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is
But
107. So I don't know if that's the same one. Western Ave update is
oh
that?
no, it's not.
Okay.
No, 107 is about maybe three-quarters of a mile inland.
All right. So this is not what you were talking about. Okay. Because
Okay, but
it
I'm
seemed to
I'm
me
glad
that
to know about it though.
yeah, it seemed to me that you had already had a public engagement process, and it seemed like they had these hadn't had it. So now that
Correct.
kind of reconciles me the kind of dissonance that I had. So all right.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, the Western Avenue 107 transit corridor hasn't had any public engagement kickoff yet.
Okay. All
And
right.
believe me, I'm going to be all over that as well because from where I am, it's about the same distance from me to the 107 corridor on one side as it is to the 1A Linway corridor on the other. I'm basically smack dab in the middle.
Yeah. Right. You're gonna have construction all around you.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah. Just need some
Yeah,
high
that
rises.
107 corridor, they probably mentioned it. It's among the top, I think it's among the top 10 most dangerous based on crash rates and pedestrian injuries.
Yeah,
Like
that's up there.
107 and 1A both are like, I
Uh,
think in the top 10 or 15 statewide. Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty bad stuff right now.
Well, let's make Len safe again. Yeah. And then let's like build it up. The make everyone want to flock to Len. Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Yep. Unless,
and then you get the blue line. Then you get the blue line extension. You know, it's like all these people in Len. We got to put the blue line out there. Yeah.
I
Think
hope
so too.
Huh?
before I'm underground, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe the way that you live forever, Stefan, is that they don't blue line, because that keeps you. Because once they build it, then that'll be the end. So,
Yep. I can't
anyway,
I can't work it out right now, but maybe sometime in 2026 I'll figure out a good play on words between the city of Lynn and your shortened nickname, Len. Can you believe I've never done that in all the years I've known you?
oh, well,
I'll work
let's
on it.
yes, let's work on it. I mean, make it
Something
good.
to look forward to, right? Yeah, that's
Make it good. You know. So all
I'll
right.
I'll let you guys go. We're coming up on 6:29
Yeah.
and you wanted a minute to get ready for the next one. So,
Yeah. Wick's gonna
um
be cranky at the meeting because he didn't get his break. I'll tell people why. I mean, so
that's fine.
yeah, just don't give Brad a hard time, Wig. Yeah. So,
I
Oh,
think it's going to be the contractors.
all right. All right.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It was all contractors at the high school meeting.
All right.
well, okay, let me just give you this one parting thought. If you really want a big build an addition or like expand or just, build out, why do you hire a contractor? Shouldn't you hire an expandor? Because a contractor, you want to an
Well,
expandor, not a
this
contractor.
is this or an extender.
Extender. Yeah.
Extender. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
You're a
very
great
good.
audience. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Have a wonderful holiday, and I'll
You
likely see you
too.
in the next meeting.
Bye bye.